welcome to Crushing Kayfabe. My name is Jason Garish. Thank you for tuning into the show. A lot of stuff going on last couple of weeks. Took last week off to celebrate the birthday of my wife, and belated happy birthday to her. But like I said, a lot of stuff going on everywhere in the world. Let's see. I mean, we've had last couple of weeks. We've had the death of the Iron Sheik, which is to me is huge. It was a huge part of my childhood wrestling experience. I still remember when Backlund dropped the belt to him. One of my first memories of wrestling was that. And then when they brought out Hulk Hogan, he came out to a huge babyface pop. You know, I can't remember the time it was. I think I'd already seen him in Rocky, but was that Rocky 3? And so I kind of knew who he was previous to that. He had done a couple of things in WWE too. That's something going on my shirt right there. I'm not sure what the heck it is. Some buzz, but so that's a highly entertaining guy. Highly controversial guy. Has said a lot of stuff. I think a lot of it might have been related to drinking and drug use, but never dull. Always entertaining, always interesting. I like how the way that the young Rock portrays him, kind of interesting to know that he was a human being. In addition to his wrestling character, it was kind of cool. Let's see if I can raise this camera up a little bit, because this is a little ridiculous, chopping the entire top of my... I don't think I can raise this camera. Wow. That's real interesting. Alright, so we're going to be a little chopped right now. Maybe we can raise the angle up just a tad there, yeah. I'm chopping the top of my head off. Not cool, but we'll move back a little bit. So once again, Iron Sheik died. Always had some interesting interviews with him. Especially the Howard Stern show had a great interview with him at one point. But horrible. I was unaware of the tragedy. Like, I guess his daughter had been killed and whatnot. So there was some tragedy involved in his life too. But obviously he found some ways to cope with it, unfortunately, which weren't very healthy on his part. But yeah, rest in peace, the Iron Sheik. It was one of the greatest heels ever. I mean, even if he was cartoony, I mean, he got a lot of heat with the whole, Iran war, the whole Iraq war and everything. Got a lot of heat with that, and just was a lightning rod for years. Was he detrimental to people's Iraqi reign? Jeez, I'm probably messing it up. I apologize. I'm still kind of figuring that out, but yeah, just like I said, a complete lightning rod for heat, and always entertaining. So rest in peace, Iron Sheik. I just dropped soda on my preamble. Oh, good. If we cut out during the broadcast, you'll know why. Or if you start hearing static for no reason whatsoever, you'll know why. Or it starts clipping or something. I've actually got two preamps here. I've got one's a digital, one's an analog tube preamp. So worst case scenario, I'll cut over to the digital one. I enjoy using the tube preamp because I like the way tube sounds, but it always gives a nice warm mid range and whatnot. But we'll see. And luckily that tube is replaceable. But. No, it looks good. Sounds good so far, as far as I could tell. But yeah, rest in peace, Iron Sheik. And we lost Billy Graham too, so rest in peace to him. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance, unfortunately, growing up to hear a lot of or see a lot of him. He was obviously a huge influence on Hulk Hogan. Based a lot of his style around, based his body type, based a lot of his promos off him. So he was widely influential. Him and the WWE had a falling out for years there, and Graham said a lot of controversial things and whatnot. got a fly that's going around here. Something else to bother me during the podcast, but if you catch them on camera, I'm sorry. But yeah, once another lightning rod character, another a death, unfortunate, but rest in peace, program, superstar program. Let's see here. Line's a little off again this week. I'm sorry. I'm relying on one of my 4 amps. I still got to get an extension cord for my other light back there. I got a really nice LED panel light back there, and you can see it's way too dark back there. And why did my light in the back there turn on? Wow. So it looks like I'm in a dungeon right now, probably, but this will get fixed next week. Because I've got a 200 watt light bulb over there, and I don't know why that went out. So maybe that's out. That's a newer light bulb. I don't know why that would go out, but aside from that, I want to send a shout out to Joey Numbers from Wrestling Soup. Just got married and just had birthday, so just turned the big 40. I think. Shout out to him. Happy birthday! Congratulations on your wedding, and good deal. I heard he had an awesome wedding in Vermont with like a Ben and Jerry's ice cream bar and everything. It sounded amazing. I wish I would have been there, and it sounded like a trip. I love Vermont. Vermont's beautiful, but it's a long drive for me right now from Western Tennessee to Vermont. Even from Connecticut, it was like 5 hours. But Vermont has always been one of my favorite places to be. A little too weird in some respects, but the people are so laid back and so cool there. It's wild. A lot of dairy farms, a lot of whatnot, but good place, good beautiful state, whatnot. Good deal. I hope the microphone's not picking up. I'm always having a conversation background. I don't think it is. I think that's the beauty of dynamic mics is they don't pick it up. If I was using one of my condenser mics, you would definitely hear her. But let's see, what else we got going on? What else? Ton of stuff. Jeez. I wish I had more than half an hour right now, but hey, we got an announcement for the first match on was it Collision? It's going to be CM Punk. It's a 6-man CM Punk teaming up with FTR, which is like perfect. I know one of the other who the heck are they going against? I know one of the other participants is Samoa Joe, which for a while there it's been rumored that his first feud come back is going to be Samoa Joe. That's who he requested. At least that's what a lot of the dirt sheets are saying. That he specifically requested Samoa Joe and turned down the idea of starting with Chris Jericho. Speaking of which, Samoa Joe is going to be in Twisted Metal. I'm not sure if that's a one-shot movie or a series or whatnot, but I've seen some footage of that, and it looks cool in that. So that's probably why he's been off television for a while. Not to mention that he's technically in ROH. Which I still have not seen the Jay Briscoe tribute, and I'm sad about that. I'm going to have to watch that very, very soon. My wife and I are going to have to sit down and watch that. But yeah, and we've seen a whole bunch of stuff with the Bloodline. Bloodline right now is like this is going to sound awful, but it's like, I don't want to say the only reason, but it's the main reason I'm watching wrestling right now, because a lot of the other stuff is just not entertaining to me right now. But the Bloodline stuff is always entertaining. Great interactions with Jey Uso, with Jimmy, because the how they flip-turned the whole thing with Jimmy being the one to turn on Roman Reigns. I don't think anybody expected that. We were all expecting Jey, and it brings a whole new dynamic to everything, which is great. So I honestly can't predict a lot of what they're doing. So it's come down to some really interesting twists and turns and whatnot. And I haven't seen anything like that in wrestling for years now. Highly entertaining, highly interesting. It keeps me glued to it. My dungeon here, For people watching the video, I apologize for the horrible lighting right now. Right now, I've basically got the ring light and a 100-watt light bulb, and that's it. That's why it looks like complete darkness in the background here. Unfortunately, and I had a 200-watt light bulb that went out for some reason, and my other LED panel out there that's usually on, I don't have an extension cord right now for, so we're in the darkness. It looks like there's actually light here, but it appears like a dungeon on video, unfortunately. Which, speaking of dungeons, I just started watching the Dungeons and Dragons movie last night. We got a little bit through it. It looks pretty good so far. Some major stars in it, some good acting. So, and the CGI is not absolutely horrible. I haven't seen any of the previous D&D movies, so I can't really judge it. I always heard that was anything else they did, like the other D&D movie, and I know they did like a Dragonlance animated movie. I've heard they were absolutely horrible, so I stayed away from them. I didn't want to be disappointed. I know my ex loved the first Dungeons and Dragons movie, but I didn't. Like I said, I didn't get to see it just because I was so afraid I'd be disappointed that I didn't bother watching it. But so far, this one's pretty good, and they seem to be incorporating a lot of the game aspects and mechanics and elements into it, and they strayed a little bit. You know what? So be it. A lot of purists out there nitpicking this and nitpicking that. You know what? That's what nerds do. That's what geeks do. That's what we've always done our whole life. I did forever with comic book movies and things of that nature, like science fiction adaptations and stuff like that. So I understand where they're coming from. At this point in my life, I just want to be entertained. That's like, but definitely so far pretty good. Not the best directing, not the best camera angles and whatnot, but I wasn't expecting that. So I was expecting a lot of flash, but a lot of head-on angles, and which could have been done a little bit differently. But I'm nitpicking. But then again, I'm a fan of cinema, so I like, my favorite director is Ridley Scott. I like seeing how different directors handle different scenes and handle camera angles and whatnot, because you can build a lot of tension on how you frame a shot. And like I said, I wasn't expecting, Gone with the Wind here, but it would have been nice to have a little bit more of that. But there's a lot more of the movie left, so I'll fill everybody in on my opinion on that later. My wife and I did watch the Dark Side of the Ring episode with Tammy Sitch and Candido. Really good show. A lot of stuff about Chris Candido I did not know. A ton of stuff I learned about him, how good of a guy he seemed to be, and how he had gotten his life back together. And the truly tragic thing about it, I say that because Tammy Sitch has made conscious decisions in her life. She's forged her own path. I can't really view her that much as a tragedy, because she's chosen the road she's on, But Candido, watching his final moments in TNA, where he'd gotten in great shape again, and then coming to the realization that he basically died because of a blood clot. Basically died because he got on a plane way too soon after an operation. After it was his ankle or leg that had been broken, and didn't really have didn't heed doctor's advice, I should say, and got on a plane because he had great work ethic. He wanted to work. He wanted to be there. He wanted to wrestle. He loved wrestling. That's what he wanted to do. Got back on a plane, and there you go. Made a bad mistake and unfortunately paid for it with his life. Horrible, horrible tragedy. As opposed to Tammy, who just has kind of forged her own path. I don't want to, it was interesting to see her evolution into the person that she is today. But I've said this to many different people now. They could have devoted an entire other episode just to her. and it wouldn't shock me if in the future they do. But there were so many things excluded from her aspect of the story. I mean, like I said, they could devote another 1 or 2 hours just to her solely. But I'm glad they did it because it focused on Chris. And the first time I've ever seen Jim Cornette get choking up like that and have to leave the set and walk away. I've never seen him like that before, and that must say a ton about what kind of person Kenny was, and immensely, unbelievable. I've never seen him get broken up like that, and that was, I think that probably says all you need to know about the individual and who he was. Unfortunately, he led a truly tragic life, and he really got screwed over by Tammy. Even though she was supposedly quote unquote, with him till the end. What was with him though? I mean, she was cheating on him with Shawn Michaels previous to that. She was sleeping around with him basically right in front of his face, and it kind of shows you who Tammy is. I've yet to see or hear a single interview or soundbite where she showed any regret for any of her actions. And that's horrible. They briefly talked about the whole manslaughter charges and her being in jail, but they didn't go into any of her, excuse me, any of her OnlyFans situation, any of her involvements outside the ring. I mean, the fact that she's a WWE Hall of Famer, and she looked like she was cleaned up for all of about a month. And then she lost a ton of weight, got back in shape, looked very attractive, and then, boom, she just went back to her old ways, and, horrible, and finally caught up to her. She killed him, and, that family will never have that person back. They'll never be able to talk to that individual again, never see them on this earth again, and, that's horrible. That's really horrible, and I've yet to hear her really come out and say, yeah, I'm sorry, and never heard her come out and have any regrets. I think she even said in one soundbite on the show, I have no regrets. You should. Are you a sociopath? Is she a sociopath? It makes me wonder if she is. It makes me wonder, at least a narcissist, because her actions really, really very telling. Type person she is. It's horrible. Horrible tragedy. But good show. Like I said, I wish I had devoted another episode to it though, to really get into it. I've heard other podcasters say the same exact thing. And, that's really the case. They should. Yeah, so that's kind of, like I said, we watched that, had a brief interruption there. I'm sorry if that picked up any, random background noise. My wife briefly, opened the door. I'm not sure what she was trying to accomplish, but she's on the phone right now talking to her relative. But yeah, like I said, we enjoyed that episode, but yeah, there could have been a lot more to it. Looks like they're never going to run out of material for the show, it seems like, and that's unfortunate because there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff going on in pro wrestling that would fit the topic and fit very well. I haven't looked at the full lineup of this season to tell what's coming up, but I glanced at it a little bit. It looked pretty good, but yeah, in future shows we'll kind of dive into that. I believe that's on tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. It'll be on at like 9 though, and I'll have to be up at 4 the following morning, so I won't be watching that until later on in the week. But yeah, that's kind of what we got going on. I mean, Money in the Bank is coming up, so we'll have that to look forward to. It'll be interesting to see how if Cody Rhodes is ready to go by then, because I don't think he's going to have a match to qualify. They had announced the qualifying match for him. I think it was against Dom, but then they had the Miz show with him and Dom interrupting. So I don't know how that's going to play out. I don't know if Cody is legitimately hurt or what the deal is, if he actually has a broken arm. If you can let me know, please post in the comment section. Let me know. But yeah, like I said, a lot of stuff going on. That should be interesting. Money in the Bank, then SummerSlam coming up. Some good shows, big pay-per-views coming up there. SummerSlam is always a high point for me. It's always pretty good. AEW, like I said, aside from the Collision thing, I've been, aside from having this fly make me want to go nuts here and do this thing, aside from that, AEW's been pretty lackluster, I think, lately. I really haven't been interested in a lot of the shows, and if I'm randomly swallowing at things, it's a fly, not me going insane, hopefully. But like I said, AEW has been really lackluster lately and just boring. I really not having much fun watching AEW anymore, and a lot of times it's kind of hard to make it through. I hate to say that, but the booking's been awful, and there's a bunch of stars that just aren't on the show that I'd like to see, and I'm hoping that with the advent of Collision, that they'll incorporate CM Punk into the creative aspect of things, and hopefully he'll start booking some of the stuff, because Tony Khan is just dropping the ball left and right and stuff. Like I say, all the people I liked and whatnot have been kind of off camera and whatnot, or they've been in horrible storylines that they fly through, and that's one of AEW's biggest issues to me, is they don't allow things to develop naturally and emotionally. That even like when they've had several instances where they should have let a moment go and just kind of paused with the camera and whatnot, and they rush through everything. It's like they're trying to get everyone on the screen, everyone going, but they're not doing a service to their wrestlers by pacing the show in that fashion, because it's just becoming a jumbled mess, and you don't have any time to absorb the stuff, because there's still some very good wrestling, there's still some excellent wrestling, there's still some incredible talent. That roster is packed with talent, and there's no excuse to kind of book things the way they have. So, but we like I said, still some interesting things. I'm still buying into this Bloodline story in WWE. So some good stuff going on in wrestling. Like I said, unfortunately, I gotta wrap things up. I've got like 5 minutes left on the show, but excuse me. But before I do that, I'd like to give a shout out to Then and Now in downtown Trenton, Tennessee. We've got a booth there, so you can go down and buy some of my merchandise, buy some of my wife's merchandise, handmade stuff, good stuff, some paintings, whatnot. Some of my CDs are down there, I think. So if you're interested in getting that, head on down to Then and Now. It's right downtown, right in the square downtown Trenton, Tennessee. Aside from that, check out CrushingKayfabe.com. You can go there. The links for the social media. Check us out on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, whatnot. The usual suspects. Usual social media suspects. But CrushingKayfabe.com, Crushing with a K. We're also on Patreon. So Patreon.com, you can do a search for Crushing Kayfabe, and for just $1 a month, you can get this show completely ad-free and contribute to the show. Keep the lights on. Obviously, we need more money to get the extension cord and get the lights in the back on, so it doesn't look like I'm broadcasting from the dungeon here. But any help you can give us is greatly appreciated, and I thank you. Thank you for tuning in and whatnot. Also, if you're trying to find me on my artist website, my personal website, jaygerr.com, JOIGERR.com. Unfortunately, I've been having some issues with the domain name server. The company that I have my domain through I have not been able to link up to the actual website itself, which is hosted by Wix. So they have not been able to redirect my domain to that site. And I've gone through this with technical support. It's been an issue for a while now, and I don't understand why this is an issue. Last time I talked to technical support, they said that was an issue with their servers. I'm like, great, fix it. And there was no outcome whatsoever. That was last week. And so now I've got a website that's been completely invisible, unfortunately, for my business, for my shows and whatnot. So I'm losing money right there. But yeah, I'll have to give the Wix site out, because that's available. But it's a long link. You don't want to be telling people that, referring that to them. So them to that, I should say. But yeah, so that's why my personal website has been down for a while now. But other than that, check us out on CrushingKayfabe.com. Check us out on Patreon, on YouTube, on Spotify. And once again, as every week, thoughts and prayers are going out to Ukraine. Please donate to the services and organizations that are legitimately trying to get aid to them. There are lots of scams out there, unfortunately, right now. But please, those people desperately need food. They need supplies, and innocent civilians that had no say in or wanted this war, unfortunately, are the ones that are dying, because it's being fought right on Ukrainian soil. Imagine one day you wake up and there's buildings being obliterated and tanks are rolling in, trying to take your freedom away. So please, prayers and thoughts, and please send aid to those people, because they need it. Should we be footing the bill? That's for politicians, and it's for us to decide too through our vote. But either way, to get political, this matter could have been handled very differently by the current administration. It wasn't, unfortunately. But we're in the situation we are, and they're in the situation they are, and it needs to be dealt with. So pray for them. Hopefully, Russian occupation and is not going to be a reality for them much longer. But I know it is, unfortunately. This thing could stretch out for years and years and years. They're not just going to give up their country, obviously. But hopefully, pray for them and whatnot. Other than that, I hate to bring the show down on a downer, but thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting the show. And God bless. Thank you.